I've got some hot takes today, and I hope you'll stick around for them. It has been on my mind recently that younger motorcyclists and scooterists and the like, you know, younger cats that want to get on two wheels, not as prevalent anymore. And I think there are some contributing factors to this. Listen to me sounding like I sampled the Earth Mother's herbs. Just to be clear, I didn't. I don't ride under the influence, but you know, it's a good meme. But yeah, younger folks, they don't really fuck with motorcycles like they used to. Sales amongst the young cats is going down. They seem relatively disinterested in it for one reason or another. And I can think of at least a few, probably around about 5, you know, like the title of the video says, 5 reasons. Number 5, I think I'm gonna have to chalk up to entry level. Like, the barrier to entry is like way too fucking high for a lot of these Zoomers. Because, like, you know, they make these little bikes that can't really do a lot of shit. For instance, the Grom is really popular, but without heavy modification, it can't go on the interstate. And, you know, it's targeted to like a younger crowd, right? And like, sure, you got the odd college kid grabbing like a 50cc like Chinese scooter or whatever off of Craigslist, but like, they're not going to the dealerships as much anymore, or at all, really. And I think one of the reasons for that is, like, shit's just expensive, bro. Groceries, like, for one person for a couple of days, like $65. And that's like going cheap. That's like ramen and sandwiches. Shit's gotten dumb, dude. And motorcycles, they've kept pace with that economic stupidity. And all the gear that goes with it is another steep purchase. Like, the initial buy-in to motorcycle ownership is very expensive. It's very steep. Ooh, train. And a lot of these younger cats just don't have it like that, like they used to. Like, shit's fucked, bro. And like, a lot of the people I know work very, like, low-wage stuff. That are, like, a lot of the people that are younger than me work very low-wage jobs, and like, they are, like, they can't afford a monthly on like a new bike, let alone like the shit in $7,000 for a 20-year-old rode hard and hung up wet Gixxer. Like, it's just not happening yet. Like, a lot of these newer bikes that are aimed at an entry-level audience, if they were about $400 or $500 cheaper on average, maybe they might get more young kids biting on them. Like, and I know there's gonna be some outliers. There's gonna be Zoomer bikers that are like, oh no, it doesn't run me off. Well, motherfucker, not everybody is you. I think that leads me up to the next point. Number 4, motorcyclists are kind of assholes. I don't like a lot of bikers. I don't get along with a lot of bikers. I don't get along with a lot of motorcycle people in general, because there's this friendly barb culture that goes along with being a biker that, you know, a lot of younger people don't fuck with. A lot of them have a policy of, if people are just kind of openly mean to them, they get upset. And I can respect that. Younger people, they set boundaries hard, and they set them fucking fast. They demand a basic level of respect that a lot of older people just don't give them. A lot of bikers are cool people, but there's still a percentage of them. They just don't fuck with anybody. They're openly like, I don't gotta be your fucking friend. You don't gotta like me. And they're intentionally a dickhead just to maintain some kind of like edgy image that they've like built up of themselves in their own head. Younger people are a lot more emotionally intelligent and are aware of red flags and abusive patterns, and they steer clear of people like that, because all of that is red flags and abusive patterns. You know, it just creates an unsafe environment, or at least it's perceived to create an unsafe environment, which leads to the next thing. Like, this shit ain't safe, like, not in the least little bit. Like, that's why half the time I go squidding around. Like, Like, if I get hit, I'm going to the hospital, and you know, I'm not going to be able to afford the bill anyway, so I might as well get all I can, right? Younger people are typically very safety conscious. They don't want to, like, they don't want to put themselves intentionally in the line of fire. Shit, a lot of them don't even know how to ride a fucking bicycle, fam. A lot of them don't own a car, they don't drive, they don't leave the fucking house. And it's because of a culture of helicopter parenting that popped up with Gen X and carried on through millennials. And it created kind of a hug box environment. So a lot of, like, younger people are very, 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 very super duper safety conscious and would never do this, at least in the West. I know that bikes are still a pretty, like, common occurrence in like Eastern countries, like in Southeast Asia. It's a very popular way of getting around, but it's mostly scooters. And a lot of American bikers have wrapped themselves up in their identity as like a big tough man who rides a big fucking hog, that they don't fuck with scooterists at all. They don't wave to us, they don't respect us, they think we're posers, etc. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of younger people aren't gonna want to fuck with a manual transmission. They're going to want something that's twist and go, like a scooter. But if they get no respect for it and everybody makes fun of them for riding it, then what's the fucking point? We've got to create a more welcoming space for scooters and non-manual transmission motorcycles, like those new Honda DCTs and shit. Like, we've got to leave space for that, or else younger people are going to abandon the two-wheel lifestyle altogether. Younger people don't want to fuck with motor vehicles at all. A lot of them fucking don't drive, don't want to learn how to drive, would love public transit, and that's okay. Shit, a lot of them, as I said earlier, don't even ride bicycles, don't know how, never learned, parents wouldn't let them. And now they're curious, they see the bikes, some of them think it's cool, and those people might break out of that mindset and get a bike. But like, it's like, I've got a friend right now that's teaching herself how to ride on like a little fucking Facebook Marketplace dirt bike. But the thing is, it's got some kind of automatic thing going on. It's one of those cheap ass little Tao dirt bikes, which is great to learn on, but not super great to ride anywhere outside of the burbs. And the unwillingness to want to drive or operate a vehicle, you know, that stems from one of two reasons. Like, a lot of these kids have fucking crippling anxiety disorders that are very hard on people in high stress situations, like riding a bike or driving a car. There's a second part to that: climate anxiety. Motorcycles are not the most environmentally friendly way to get around, and the electric ones are so far out of the price range of anybody that might want them that it's laughable. Here's the deal: like, when you've got a population of people that refuse to learn to drive, that want public transportation, that want to get around as eco-friendly as possible, you got this crazy fucking vehicle that is two wheels and a motor, and the culture around it's not exactly like conducive to like touchy-feely, huggy, lovey Zoomer values. It's very environmentally unfriendly and dangerous, and all of these are basically antithetical to everything Zoomers value. And I think there's going to have to be a lot of shifts made in both the culture and the industry for younger people than, like, say, like middle millennials like myself, but for most younger people to want to fuck with motorcycles at all. And, you know, but yeah, I'm probably off base on some of this, but like, definitely not on all of it. Everything that motorcycles kind of represent is a big obstacle for the industry to tackle, and in order to get those younger bodies on younger saddles, they're going to have to like work hard at changing basically everything about motorcycles as a concept. Now, where that leads, maybe it'll be in the Energica route, where it's just a bunch of boutique companies producing these fucking wildly powerful death machines. Or maybe it's going to progress to something more akin to like e-bikes or electric scooters. All I'm saying is, like, loud exhausts and manual transmissions and leather and all of that, It's probably got a shelf life on it now, and a lot of people in a younger age bracket just don't like it. Is that moss on the fucking road? Sick. The very life after people. But yeah, and you know, that sucks, but like internal combustion is on the way out, whether a lot of us like to admit it or not. EV, if we're going to remain a car dependent society, is in fact the way of the future, and motorcyclists are just gonna have to fucking get over themselves and embrace the change or die out. That's it. And I think that's all I wanted to say here. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like what you saw, like, subscribe, bitch at me, send me threatening DMs, fuck, I don't know. Yeah. Y'all have a good one.